All right. Good evening. Happy Halloween week, everybody at home. And Mike and Janie, hope you guys had a nice Halloween. How's everyone doing?
We're good. It was cold here. We only had like 10, 15 kids. That was it. Usually we have, 100 or so. So all that candy is sitting out in the kitchen.
Staring at you in the face. I, I,
basically what you do is if you didn't hand it out for candy, that seems like good stocking stuffers come Christmas.
That's what I said in the Christmas baskets. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Though it's funny, I have an inflatable shark. You've probably seen him. Sits on a pumpkin, and the head got a body. And the first group was a little boy dressed as Winnie the Pooh, and his mom was Tigger, and his dad, God bless him, was Christopher Robin in a t-shirt and shorts, and it's 28 degrees outside. But she said, we had to come here. As soon as we left, he says, I want to go to the shark house. And I was like, aw. So
that's
we got extra candy.
We have, speaking of which, we got somebody else on here. Martin.
Hey guys, how are we all doing?
Hey,
good.
Martin.
How are you?
Can't complain. It's Friday Eve. Everyone doing okay?
Yeah.
Everybody's doing pretty well. Yep, we're all holding the fort down at this point,
Awesome. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, we're just talking about Halloween. How is it down your neck of the woods this week?
It was good. We don't have a massive amount of kids in our neighborhood. We probably had, maybe 15, 20 trick-or-treaters, but I love Halloween. We sat out front, gave out candy, and then went in the house and watched Halloween 1, Halloween 2. I think I fell asleep during Halloween 4, but it was good. I love it. It was good times.
Dumb question, but I'm assuming they do Halloween the same way in the UK?
It's funny. It's actually not a dumb question. It's funny you say that because when I was a kid in England, we didn't have trick-or-treating. Halloween was a thing, but we didn't get trick-or-treaters. I didn't go trick-or-treating. And probably in the last maybe 15 years, it's really become a thing in England. But we have on November 5th, Guy Fawkes Night, which is, have you seen the movie V for Vendetta? That's kind of what it is. I mean, so when I was a kid, we would go... It's like trick-or-treating, but it's called Penny for the Guy. So we'd have a wheelbarrow with this effigy of Guy Fawkes and basically go door to door asking for money, and people would give us money. But that seems to have died out now. And now Halloween has really become the big thing in England. But that's only really the past 15, 20 years. So it's a crazy thing. But, I grew up watching Halloween and all these, American movies. And I was like, oh, my God, this is what I want to do. So I think that played a part in me moving to the States because I really, loved it. I was really attracted to that stuff when I was a kid. So I really do think that played a part in me moving over here because I really wanted to be involved in that. And, we didn't have it in England as a kid. So, yeah.
Good. Nice to know.
That's pretty cool. I'm a school teacher, Martin. And so I always kind of touch base a little bit on the historical part of our holidays because a lot of our holidays are just borrowed from all the different cultures because that's how the country came together. And I believe trick-or-treating originated over in the UK, didn't it?
Go ahead. I think, Michael, were you going to say something?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Go ahead, Martin. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not sure if I think trick-or-treating, I think Halloween... And I'm not fact check me here, guys. I think Halloween started in Ireland, but bobbing for apples, that started in England. But I don't really know the history of it to speak on it, as a professional. But I think Halloween, and I think Janie, I think you're confirming it started in Ireland, right?
Yeah, you're confirming it. Yeah. It started over in Ireland, and it was called I think it was like All Saints Day or something like that.
Yeah, All Saints Day.
What they would do is that they thought because of it being the beginning of the fall season, if any bad evil spirits would come to take anybody else, that's where the jack-o'-lantern started. And it was really a jack-o'-lantern was a turnip to begin with, and it's on display somewhere. But that's how carving the pumpkin began. It was really a turnip, and they would sit that outside as a to scare off evil spirits. And if you dressed up as something even scarier, they would not come and take your soul. So really, it's more of a pagan kind of a Celtic holiday.
Yeah.
Sure.
Educational tonight. Educational.
Sorry.
Nothing wrong with that.
PBS. Yes.
Yeah. We got a couple people just chiming in. Good evening, everyone. And the Fab Four is here tonight. I don't know how many we're going to have tonight. We might be upwards like 6 or 7 people on here tonight. This might be like a game show. I'm excited.
Like Celebrity Squares.
Celebrity Squares. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, while we're on, before we really get into the Scarefest stuff, especially if we're waiting for a couple of people to roll out, thought we'd just kind of hit a little news. Martin, I don't know if you've been aware, but we've been trying to do, every time we do the Jaws show, just do like a little news of some of the, you know, the different sites and some of the groups that we've kind of, you know, really gotten to know. Obviously, yours being one of them. Just a little bit of what we've kind of been seeing to kind of pass it around, you know, get people stopping in between like the 3 or 4 different sites. And I know lately on the Daily Jaws, they've added their weekly little cartoon. I don't know if you guys have seen the newest one. Right there, it says "Sharks don't take things personally, Mr. Brody." Remember Laughter Joe's too, and then there's a picture of Bruce over there saying, "Actually, he's holding holding the plate there, you know, the script for Jaws: The Revenge." So I thought that was kind of comical. I want to kind of add that in there. And there's a good article in there on Hank Sears, a guy who I guess he didn't write the books for Jaws 2 and 3 or 4, but did the novelization coming from the movie. Is that right?
From the script, he added stuff, especially to the Jaws 4, Jaws Revenge novel. Somewhere we had a film critic that was a longtime film critic here in Kansas City that died about 10 years ago, and they had a big estate sale, and he had all kinds of autograph stuff because he broke the cardinal rule. When you do press interviews, you don't ask to get stuff signed, but he did. But he had 3 copies of the Jaws: The Revenge novel autographed by Hank Searles, and I bought them all for $5. So,
oh my God,
I'll give them out and give one out as a prize, or not as a prize, as a booby prize. Yeah,
very cool.
Christmas gift.
Yeah, right. Send them all to Martin. He would really like that.
Yeah. No, please don't. Please don't. I think my feelings are very clear. They've been very well stated over the years about my feelings for Jaws 4 and Jaws 3.
You have, yeah, and everyone knows it too, as you can see from the comments. I think we figured you out pretty quick here.
I tell you, well, I'm an open book. I'm not that difficult to figure out. You know, I put it out there. You know, so.
Great. So what new things have been popping up on your site, Martin?
So, you know, we hit 25,000 members. I want to say about a week ago. So that blows my mind. Before congrats to Michael and you guys, all of you guys, for hitting 9,000. That's phenomenal. You guys have been a group for I think maybe a year. To hit 9,000 is huge. You know, that's huge. So that's just a testament to what you guys are doing. I mean, it really is. You know, on the Jaws 50, you guys are killing it. Congratulations. I mean, you know, well deserved, right? I mean, there's a reason these pages, these groups are growing, right? I mean, you know, you do the right thing, you get it back. But you know, I'm trying to work on a couple of Q&As. I'm trying to get a few things going. Nothing to announce yet. We will be announcing our Secret Santa. You know, I don't know if you guys know about that. We've been doing a Secret Santa now since we started, pretty much. Basically, people join in. They just want to join Secret Santa, and then I do a live drawing, and I pair up people from you know, all over the world, really. You know, Michael might get paired with somebody in Australia, somebody in Canada might get paired with somebody in the UK, and we just send gifts. We put like a $25 limit to it, plus shipping, and we just send each other gifts. And it was something we did just as a funny thing. But then when COVID hit, it really kind of took off because people couldn't do anything. So that's been a really big successful thing we've done. We've done every Christmas, and we did one during the summer, I think maybe in 2020 when COVID was at its height, and people have really enjoyed that, and people have made friends. You know, people are exchanging gifts, and we have Mark Fitzgibbons and Eric Augustine. You know, Eric's in the US, Mark's in London, and those guys are just I mean, I'm proud of my collection, but these guys are just like on another level with the stuff they've got, and they become friends and they exchange gifts. So it's just something nice that we've done, and it kind of continues on. So nothing major, well, I say nothing major. It's good stuff. We hit 25,000 members. Secret Santa's come in, and I'm trying to work on a couple of Q&As. So apart from the usual stuff we do, like the memes on Monday and, all the stuff we do every week. So all good stuff, all good stuff. Really, really enjoying it.
Very cool. Yeah, and it's in the spirit, and it's also the spirit of really what you guys are always doing on your page. We having that constant camaraderie and back and forth, and that just, again, just kind of backs up what you're doing and how well you guys are doing with it. So yeah, very cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, we have another one of our guests on here tonight. Let me pop him up on here real quick. Brandon Griffith. Good evening. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Welcome.
Hello.
It's going pretty well. Sorry for the abrupt change over there, but like I said, we have a full house tonight, and we have another guest on here. Brandon Griffith is joining us. Brandon, I know a little bit of your background, so you are the one who is in charge of and runs the Scarefest. Is that correct?
Yes. Been doing it since 2017.
Nice. Very nice.
Awesome. So shared the post with me, and I was excited to join the group. And I've been a huge Jaws fan for, since 1984.
That's awesome.
Well, the three of us, two in the middle, and the one next to you, we all drove hundreds and hundreds of miles to attend Scarefest, and it was a great show. We had the best time. Everybody was friendly.
Yeah.
We met so many Jaws fans. But we were there. It was an amazing show, and hopefully we'll definitely come back and do it again. But how did it all start? How did you get involved?
Well, first off, that's great to hear, and second off, I met so many people that had just came for the Jaws reunion this year, from across the pond, from Iowa, Wisconsin. It was really amazing, and I was just amazed by the turnout for it this year, and I'm glad everybody had a good time. We actually, I do it once a year. This is something I do as a labor of love. Me and my wife own it, and we have a great crew. And we always try to look for something that's not been done before, especially in Kentucky. And it just haphazardly kind of fell in our laps that, we could book Richard Dreyfuss, which I was amazed. As soon as the name dropped, I was like, I am 100% on board, whatever it takes. Then Susan, Jeffrey, all those guys came on board. And I was like, you know what? I have a pristine linen-backed movie poster from the original theatrical release that I need signed, and let's get them all here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, amazing time. I'm from England originally, but I drove up from Alabama 7 hours, and it was great. I got to meet Michael, and then we met all the Jaws guys there. All the Jaws fans from our collective groups, but then to meet Richard Dreyfuss and Susan McElhenney, Jeff Kramer, Jeff Voorhees. That's a dream come true. And for me, when you guys did the Jaws panel, I got to ask Richard Dreyfuss how he felt about The Shark Is Broken, and it was kind of it was kind of a bit of a bummer because he didn't really like it. But the funny thing was, I asked a question, and then 2 or 3 days later, Vanity Fair had an article about it, and it was all over the internet. And so I feel like I scooped that. I feel like that was my scoop. That that I've made a bit of history there. So
you did. You did.
Well, to be honest, I followed the question where this young lady asked Richard Dreyfuss about James and the Giant's Peach, and he played a worm, which I thought was kind of a, I don't know, you got Richard Dreyfuss in front of you. You can ask about James and the Giant Peach. I mean, come on. So I felt like I took my moment, and it was fantastic, and he was very gracious. He gave a great answer. It was a bucket list thing for me. That weekend was really a bucket list thing. So I thank you for that, and it was. I'll definitely be back. It was a great time.
Well, you're most welcome. And the saddest thing from a promoter standpoint is like I put so much emphasis on making that reunion happen. I never actually got a chance to attend the panel.
Oh my gosh!
It happens. It's a double-edged sword. But I did get to meet Richard face to face and all the guys, and like my crew likes to mess with me from year to year, and so I got a call over the walkie. It was like, Dreyfus needs to see you at his table immediately. You're like right now, and of course, like my heart drops. I was like, oh my god, we've totally messed something up. So I run back there, like it's a 4-alarm fire, and they're like, no, he just wants to meet you, and like my heart just kind of dropped there for a second, like, and I got to talk to him for a few minutes, and it's something that I'll remember forever because me and my dad were a big fan of Jaws, and like we grew up it was one of the first horror movies I ever watched, and it was sad that he wasn't there. But I got to talk to Richard about all these things that I'd have wanted to talk to him about. And I don't fanboy or get starstruck very often, but it was definitely one of those moments that I did.
Oh, good. He'll be glad to hear that. He is very genuine. In 76, I helped run his official fan club. And over the last 4 or 5 years, I've gotten really close with he and his wife. And he is the most genuine person I've ever met. He will not pull punches. I mean, Martin, no. he could have, politically correct. He could have said,
right.
It was a good show. I liked the set. The orca looked good, but he said, hey, they screwed me. And, that's how he feels. And he's not afraid to tell you that. So if he took the time to talk to you, that's, consider yourself blessed in the Church of Dreyfus because he was very genuine. And if he asked to talk to you, it's because he really wanted to say hi and say thank you and talk to you.
Yeah, that was a super cool fan moment. And so what do you guys think about the giant orca head?
Oh, the big shark. I love that. Hopefully, I help out with SharkCon every year. And Richard's going to be at SharkCon in Tampa in July. And I know he was talking to Spencer, the guy who runs SharkCon, was talking to the guy who has the big shark head about having to come down because I guess it travels. So, yeah.
Actually, this one was fabricated here in Kentucky.
Joe Parrish, right? Joe Parrish.
Yeah, Joe is just like 30 minutes down the road, and he fabricates from, some amazing set pieces. And so he actually built this. It was about 2 years ago, I think it was, and just brought it. And then I was like, well, holy crap! If I'd known you were going to do that, I would have tried to book Dreyfus.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have this perfectly pristine shark head here. And I was like, well, we'd be remiss if we didn't book Dreyfus next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say that I booked around Joe's shark head, but I kind of did a little bit, I guess.
But it was great, though, because it's, sadly, well, in a way, sadly, the film's going to be 50 years old in 2025. And everybody that, there's so many people that were on the cast and crew that sadly are no longer with us. So to get, I've done shows where it's just been Richard or Richard and Jeff Kramer or Joe Alves and Jeff Voorhees, but to get four major, major pieces of the Jaws puzzle in one room is amazing. Talking about people come across the pond, we've got another guest scheduled to come on, Dean Cubitt, who came over from Wales just for the show. So it's it's a coup. You pulled off a great coup to have all four of them there. So
yeah, it's really funny the way it happens. Like sometimes you just don't go into planning it that way, and it just kind of falls in your lap when you're booking folks. And so Richard fell into place, and then the rest of them fell into place, and it was like, the more we just kept going, it was like we've got to find more.
Well, Richard's Richard's the linchpin because usually once he's there, the other I've gone to non-Richard shows where the Jaws turnout has been good, but then when Richard's there, you know, it's the ancillary characters. They do much better as well, just because people are like, well, I'm here. I got Richard Dreyfuss. Might as well get these people.
You got to check out the vendor that was making the pinball machines with the actual they were gumball.
The gumball machines, yes.
Yeah. I saw that guy here. Very good work.
Oh, I was amazed, and
I may or may not have one for Christmas.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I think he takes orders over Etsy, but I'm bringing him back in next week or next year, and I've got a list. But yeah, I was amazed by just all the Jaws artwork and stuff that people had brought in. I mean, the panels, the people that were there to visit. I couldn't have been any more elated by the entire event.
I have to say a couple of things. You know, I was there primarily for Jaws, but I was at FrankenCon in May, and I think you guys were there, right? Yeah. And we got to meet. I'm hijacking this thing, Michael and Nate. Apologise, but I got to meet Felissa Rose, and that Sleepaway Camp panel was phenomenal. Those guys are just pros at panels. It was hilarious. Those guys are great, but to Michael's point, you know, getting the four Jaws guys there, you know, Richard, Jeff Kramer, Jeff Voorhees, and Susan. I mean, that right there is worth the price of admission for me. I mean, I drove 7 hours, dragged my wife along, you know, who's not a big horror fan. She likes Jaws. She doesn't love Jaws like I do, but I mean, it was fantastic. And to meet the fellow, you know, the Jaws fans, got to meet Michael, you know, Janie, and a bunch of other guys on our pages. It was bucket list, and I seriously say that it was a bucket list thing for me. You know, I got to meet these guys, got all the autographs, got photos with them. So I got to thank you. It was just a really bucket list thing for me.
I appreciate it. The green room at that thing was absolutely priceless. When you have like Richard and then like Spencer from the Ice Nine Kills, and then like Greg Nicotero in there. Then you've got like a Kane Hodder popping in, and like all these people like in a condensed area. Like I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere with a satellite dish, and it's like my dream come true. And that's how I try to plan it every year. And this year just was a big kiss to my 14-year-old self.
You know, also I got to say, and I sent an email to the mayor of Lexington. Everybody there, from your staff to the people at the hotel to the restaurants we went to Walmart. They were so friendly.
Completely agree.
Yeah, it was.
There he is.
Excellent visit.
That's God, what's his name again?
Dean.
There he is.
Dean.
There he is.
Dean, I met you in the line out front, man.
Dean's here. Everybody say hi to Dean. Hello, Dean.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Dean.
Dean, why are you not in bed? 1 o'clock in the morning in Wales. What's going on?
It's about 11 o'clock in the evening. So
11 o'clock, okay.
Yeah, so not too bad. But yeah. Hey, Brandon, how are you? Great show you put on.
Hey, thank you, Dean. Good seeing you again, man.
And Martin right there. Janie, and of course Michael.
Hi,
every
darling.
time I think of your name, every time I think of Michael, I think of Jaws 2, where he's trying to creep out the room, and the little brother goes, Michael.
Michael. My wife says that sometimes when I try to keep out of the room.
Hey, Mike, let's keep it PG, okay?
Yes.
Awesome. This is the biggest group of people we've had on here mixed in one night. Sorry, we've been kind of making less transitions and more abrupt jumps here, but as people come on, I'm just trying to kind of bring us all together when no one's sitting and waiting too long. So at any rate, I don't know if you noticed, I did go on and pirate some pictures from a couple of you guys. Thought I'd just kind of bring them up to throw up here in the background. So Brandon was just talking about the shark, and Dean, as we were going through and talking about that, I have a couple of pictures here that have the shark. So pictures for both you guys. So that shark was very, very large, but from my understanding, it was like fairly lightweight and very mobile. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
Well, I saw him move it, and one guy picked one piece of it up quite easily by himself. So
it's like pool noodles and
It was yoga mat. He told me that he built it with yoga mats and
pool noodles. Yeah.
I didn't
the dock. Wait a minute. The dock, unfortunately, you don't sit on. Okay. I don't want to hear anything from Martin.
I wasn't going to bring that up. Okay. I wasn't bringing that up, Janie.
Listen, I broke the dock. Okay. The shark was broken, and so was the dock. Okay, but I paid the guy to fix it. But don't sit on it. But it was.
I wasn't even going to bring that up. You just outed yourself.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'd rather blame myself anyway, man.
I heard nothing about that. I did not realize it was as mobile as it was until I was walking the floor, and then in the background, I just see the top of the shark head like moving slowly. Like if somebody had played some like Dunna.
Perfect.
It was almost like Land Shark in the background. I was amazed they were able to move it so quickly.
That's one of the guests I want to have at Jaws 50. I want to have Chevy Chase come out in the Land Shark head.
Oh my gosh!
Land Shark
would be a moment.
Yeah.
Candy Graham.
Candy Graham.
Yeah.
So, Dean, you traveled the furthest. Was it worth the trip?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It was quite a trip, and it was quite a trip back as well. Because, as you know, I had problems with my flight coming back. And, you know, I made a fatal error of rushing and booking an earlier flight. And when I got to to Charlotte, they in fact told me, "What are you doing here? You should be in Chicago to get your international flight home." So I booked my flight to the wrong airport to come back home. So I had to rebook an international flight from Charlotte back to London.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Oh, no.
It was still worth it.
Good. Good.
Where in Wales are you, Dean?
I'm in a town called Cwmbran, which is about 5 miles from Newport and about 10 miles from Cardiff. Yeah,
okay.
So I'm a Cardiff boy myself. I was born in Cardiff, so yeah. So literally just across the Severn Bridge, you know.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
Yeah,
Wales is a beautiful country.
Yeah, it's nice. I thoroughly enjoy it here. but yeah, I mean, going back to Scarefest. Well, while I was trying to arrange my flight, I was late on the Friday getting there. And I was panicking a bit because I was supposed to be meeting somebody who was keeping me a space in the line. And that was Eddie Davis, who I met there. And it just happened to be, for more or less, the first guy in the line there, because he was there from 7 o'clock in the morning. So I turned up there, and luckily enough, then we managed to get in as a VIP. Thank you, Brandon. So we went straight to Richard Dreyfuss, you know, and I wasn't planning on getting anything signed on the Friday, but I managed to do everything I wanted to do, which was the only thing I wanted to do was meet the four from Jaws, and I did all that on the actual Friday. So we had a ball, but then on Saturday we had all the photo ops, which was absolutely tremendous opportunity to see him again.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like when I was standing out in front, like I always like try to talk to people in the line and stuff. And I was just over there, and I met Dean and was talking to him, and he told me where he was coming from, and like it just kind of blew my mind a little bit. And I'm still very appreciative that you made the trip. And
both my boys want to come next year now, so they're not really Jaws fans, but they didn't really realize that it was going to be, you know, like Halloween and Friday the 13th, and all that was going to be, all those actors were going to be there. So I'll have no problem bringing them over with me next year.
Oh, and next year's going to be a little bit bigger, and I'll and Dean, for making the trip, dude, I will totally send you some passes.
That'd be awesome.
Wow.
That's the least I can do.
Nice.
You're coming across.
Hey, Brandon, I drove 7 hours, man. Come on.
Yeah, I drove 9 hours.
Hey, 7 hours is up there too. I mean, hey.
Listen, I've been promoting it.
I love throwing out free passes now, guys.
Hey, could I just throw a couple of comments out? I have a couple of questions up here relating here. If you guys don't mind, just for a second, not to be rude here. We've got one here. Sorry, I'm going to block some heads just for a second. So, is there videos of this on the Jaws page and referring to videos of Scarefest? So you guys, I know I've seen some things floating around. If you guys want to kick in, I'm sure
Martin's put some on his stuff, and I think Mike has too.
Brandon, do you post the panels? Do you post the panel videos?
Yeah, so we're actually editing all of our videos and photos that we got for the weekend. And so we'll be putting those out here soon. And now I'm a member of the group. I will gladly share those on here.
Oh, certainly. Thank you. Yeah.
I pulled the Jaws panel off of YouTube maybe the 2 days later, and I posted it to my group, which is Amnesty Jaws group, just because I was so happy that I got to meet Richard Dreyfuss and ask him some questions, and so I posted that pretty much almost 2 or 3 days later, which was it was fantastic just to have some time with that guy, and like I said at the beginning, growing up as a kid in England, loving Jaws as a boy. And so many memories tied to that with, grandparents that are no longer here, seeing this movie as a kid. It really was. And I don't want to overstate this. It really was bucket list. Like, these are the things I left England 20 something years ago to come to the States and to have these opportunities. Seriously, it means a lot to me. I started my Jaws page 5 years ago just because I wanted to, maybe interact with some Jaws people, see some photos, maybe learn some facts. And it's grown to we have over 25,000 people on my page now, which it blows my mind, absolutely blows my mind. And to get to meet these people and meet you guys, like meet Michael and meet Janie and Dean. I've not met Nate yet, and Brandon we've not met, but honestly, it blows my mind that my little Jaws page started as nothing, is now this thing, and it's great. And I've made friends, lifelong friends from this thing, from Jaws. So it's just a massive deal, and I hope you guys understand that. It's just huge.
Well, Nate, to steal from your page's logo mission statement, amity means friendship, and that's exactly what this group and our groups and the original Jaws page and Jaws Paradise and the Daily Jaws, we're friends, and that's more important than
anything. A phrase. Well, there's a word for that. It's not really friends and family. We're family. So it's together because it's family, and it's because we have the camaraderie of this movie and love it so much in different directions. And even maybe in the same reasons. So, when you're talking about how you got to meet Richard, Brandon, and it was so wholesome and everything, that we've all had that experience. Well, Nate, you haven't met him yet, have you?
No.
Okay, we got to get Nate on this. We got to. So. You're the rookie. Well, hang with us.
Together, man.
Come on, we'll get you in. But
it's the
same. It's the same as meeting a hero or a childhood hero, basically. And it's that nostalgia where you,
Nate took the cue, and I knew he did as soon as the screen went black. These are flyers that we handed out to Jaws fans at Scarefest. This page is a combination of these groups with over 200,000 people strong. That's a small village. That's like the third biggest city in Kentucky, maybe 200,000 people that just love the film, and we love each other, and most importantly, we respect each other. There is no drama, and it's just great to be part of a family, even a Jaws family, because that's what it is. I've made friends that I'll have. My best friend. We have been best friends since September of 1976. I actually liked the film so much that I went to Radio Shack and bought a 2-hour audio cassette, and I snuck a cassette player into Jaws, and I would listen to it as I went to sleep every night. And I took it with me to school. I'm sitting in the back of drama class, and I'm listening to it, and this big, tall, gangly, blonde kid comes up to me, and he says, "Are you listening to Jaws?" And I said, "Yeah." And he sat down next to me, and we have been inseparable for 47 years, just because of this film and other films. You know, Janie, Nate, and Martin, Dean, you know, we are. Well, I hate to say it's family. I mean, we are. It's a giant. It's a more Partridge family than Manson family. Thank goodness. So we are.
I don't know what I was expecting coming over there, but I was absolutely blown away by how nice, kind, and genuine everybody I met out there was. Absolutely fantastic. And you know, I put pictures on Facebook, obviously, and the amount of people though that moaned about how Richard Dreyfuss had this bored look on his face, or you know, and he wasn't like that at all. You know, I just think it's probably a persona he puts on, or a look he puts on for the camera, because he just would talk. I mean, I felt like he would talk to me for an hour. You know, I had to move myself on because I was aware of other people behind me. But yeah, some people were saying, "Oh, he's."
But you know, the thing, Dean, and I thought about that as well. I mean, I went there. We got there Friday. We left. We did Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I've got to be honest. Saturday night, I was absolutely wiped out, and I was just walking around. You know. And Richard Dreyfuss is what, 76? He just turned 76. He's sitting there for hours upon hours, signing thousands of autographs, meeting people. So, you know, and I'm not 76, and I was Saturday night. I was absolutely flipping wiped out. So, you know, for these folks to be in their 70s doing this all day, you know, all day Saturday, Sunday, Friday, you know. So if they appear to be tired, upset, they get a free pass. I mean, that is work. That is a lot of work, you know. So
I mean, guys, I've watched it for a few years now, and I mean, it is the gauntlet. I mean, you're talking 72 hours of I mean, it's people are sitting there, but I mean, it's a lot of engagement. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
80 years old.
And he goes out of his way. He goes out of his way to engage you. I've gone to signings where they don't even look up at you. Years and years ago, I went to a cancer society benefit thing, and Mickey Mantle was signing baseballs at. And I said, okay, Mickey Mantle. And you give the ball to somebody, he hands it to Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle hands it to somebody else. And when I was in front of him, I said, thank you, Mr. Mantle. And he looked up quickly. And the guy in front of me freaked out. He goes, oh, my God, Mick looked at you. And I'm thinking, Mick should look at everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have time. You don't have time to have a conversation or anything. But all these fans, Susan did, and Jeff and Richard, they want to hear your stories. They want to hear, you know,
story as well.
Yeah. Why do you like Jaws? That's one thing. It's one thing, Janie, when we were down in SharkCon and I flew home that night, I'm driving home from the airport and Richard called me and I'm in my car and I look down, you know, at the caller ID on the car and it's like, it was Svetlana's phone. And I'm like, oh my God. And we talked and he said, you know, I got to ask you, why me? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, what is it about me? And then I told him all the reasons that I appreciate him as a person and as an actor and his talent and his movie. And he loves hearing that stuff. They all do. They all want to know that they've made even
an
the smallest impact on your life. So
personal connection beyond a signature or a photo shoot.
Yes.
I think it's that personal connection. And you know, the videos that I've seen, even with the panels and some of the pictures that are going on, that was happening there. Like what I said before, it didn't look like you were like, you know, a barrier and a half a field away. You were right there, you know,
right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were right. You know, it was, go ahead, Nate.
No, which is, I thought that was kind of neat, as opposed to, you know, there was a defined barrier, you know, there was that safety zone, where here it was much more of that. So, so Brandon, kudos to you, not only for assembling this, but then, you know, I think your approach then obviously transcends or kind of works its way into the show. If you didn't have that approach and that personality, you wouldn't have that in the show. It'd be much more of like what Mike is talking about, where it's kind of like, okay, I'm here to purchase from the vendor, and the vendor's going to make sure I get what I'm getting from the factory, and we're out of there. So I think it's kind of neat to see this was much more than that.
Well, I'll tell you the fundamental difference for me between, and I've been a fan of Comic-Cons and large fan conventions for a while, but like the horror cons are where I kind of hang my hat. And it's a different group of folks, and it's a different kind of guest. And the guys that you meet at, just from the people that are buying tickets and being there, everyone's there because they want to, for a feeling. It brings them back to when they were, an event or a person, or for me, a lot of it is reminders of like people that I've hung out with and family that's no longer here. And the guests, to me, the interaction is the utmost importance. And I think the horror guests that we have understand that, I think, more so than what you see at a Comic-Con or a big fan convention. You're not going to get the same interaction from a Chris Evans that you will from someone that was like Richard or Greg Nicotero. It's different. It's just not the same. But being able to sit down for a few minutes and just being able to have that interaction, and it brings you back to a point in your mind. Like it'll remind you of a place. It'll remind you of a person. All those things. To me, that's paramount in the experience. And if you don't have that, it takes away from it. And I think it's just at its root, it's about reliving things. And
yeah. I mean, I had Richard sign some US divers goggles, the same as he wore in the movie. And when he signed it, he told me the story that when he was with his dive instructor, and they were 70 foot down under the water, and his dive instructor, with his hands, was doing this to him, to Richard Dreyfuss, and Richard couldn't understand what this meant. But Richard said, I assumed he just wanted me to take my mask off. And so I did. And he took his mask off, 70 foot down, and he said he went into a panic then, obviously, because he couldn't see anything, and he started swimming to the top, and he was saying how he was trying to remember, was he supposed to be going up as fast as the bubbles were rising or slower than the bubbles were rising? It was a great little story, He said, I couldn't believe I actually took the mask off, but I didn't ask him why the dive instructor was doing that. So, but yeah, it's great coming away with little stories like that.
And Brandon, I gotta say, all of your celebrities were so accessible. Tom Savini, who had done some stuff for our podcast, I could just walk up and say hi. I didn't have to go through a handler or stand behind a barricade. Jack Osborne, I have a friend that has had MS for a long time, and I know Jack Osborne is just dealing with that. And he asked me to give Jack Osborne his phone number in case he ever wanted to talk. And Jack Osborne was very nice and very appreciative. Greg Nicotero, you just walk up and say hi. I've been to shows where you can't get near them unless you're paying something. I've gone to shows where I won't name the talent, but he pays people to stand in front of where he is, and if they see somebody in the crowd taking a picture of him, they are to jump in front of him so they can't get a picture of him.
Yeah, we've had those instructions as well on some people, and unfortunately, that's sometimes that comes with the baggage. But we're lucky, I think, in a lot of the guests that we've had, especially this year and last year. Everybody's just really accepting, and we've done a good job, I think, overall of like bringing up. I mean, we had 20-some thousand people in attendance, making sure that we don't overwhelm the floor to where it feels rushed or like people don't get the same experience. And so making sure that, our VIPs, our weekend folks, like all those guys are getting through, but also watching the line to get in because it wrapped around the building twice.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a line like that in my life. We got the VIP passes, and on Saturday we went out and we left for lunch, and I have never seen a line like that in my life. I could not believe the length of the line. It blew me away. Never in my life have I seen a line that long.
Well, yeah, I nearly shat my pants when I saw it. This is Nicole, my wife.
I wanted to say something about that, though, because I saw the comments about the line, and nobody waited in line that long, which amazed me. And we worked really hard to run down the line and make sure nobody had a photo op. We got them in if they needed to get to a certain thing. And, you know, we have incredible staff, some that have been there for all, you know, since 2008. You know, we call our staff family, and they really make sure that, you know, people are treated well, but they didn't have to wait in line that long. It was really pretty beautiful for something that long. It was crazy.
It's all connected. So you have to make sure that you watch the entire thing, because like if you swamp the floor, nobody's going to have a good time. The thing that I hate most about going to a show is that if I can see where I want to go and it takes me 30 minutes to get there, I'm not going to have a good time. And lines, you know, unfortunately, you know, lines come with the badge. Like it's going to happen. But if you manage it correctly, people shouldn't be waiting too long outside, and people shouldn't be overwhelmed inside. So, you know, you have to watch it and you have to count it and make sure you're not letting too many folks in. And it's a little bit of an equation, but I think we found a good mix because, you know, people didn't have to wait in line a long time, and it didn't overcrowd the floor to where, you know, you were like, Jesus Christ, I just want to get right there. Like,
yeah, that was for the 20,000 people. It was, we just moved along, and you know, we weren't shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
We could walk, we could look around. Yeah, it was.
It doesn't feel that way. And I mean, you're dealing with we had 150,000 square foot of space to work with, which for a horror con, I mean, is a lot of space.
Yeah, the venue was great. The venue was great. I didn't feel like, you know, we got there early Saturday, and I got the autographs I wanted within an hour and a half. I mean, you know, so you got to plan accordingly. But I thought the venue was great. The 2 floors was fantastic. You know, the panels downstairs and the vendors and everything upstairs. You know, I think the venue was fantastic. I think you guys knocked it out of the park for that amount of people. I think you guys killed it.
I really appreciate it.
Which was amazing downstairs.
It's a lot of planning. Like it was funny. The first thing that when I walked in, so we walk into the show floor on Thursday, and the big sign that is supposed to tell everybody where to go that's hanging over the top of the ceiling.
Oh, this was awful.
The arrows were all pointing in the wrong directions.
And it was about 100 foot up in the air.
Yeah. So it's like 100 foot up. You know, it's like 4 foot by 3 foot. And like, you know, how the hell do you fix that the day of?
A 30 foot. It was like a 30 foot baby.
Yeah. So we had to create a sticker like last minute and like
turn the hands the other way.
Yeah,
like skeleton hands.
It was a whole big rigmarole. But anyway, yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff that like the day of, like I love my fans. I love the folks that come. You always have to plan to keep things as straightforward as possible. If you make it confusing, people will follow the people in front of them, and then it just can turn into chaos. So signage, chairs, and organization. That's the 3 keys.
I'm going to duck out because Brennan needs to do this, but 2 cute things that I got to encounter with Richard Dreyfuss, and one is all the man wanted to eat was a hot dog. I think it was on Friday or Saturday, and there's all kinds of food there to eat and all these choices, but I don't even know if hot dogs were on the menu. He handed it to him. He's like, I just want a hot dog, and like 3 people at once, like, bring him a hot dog from like his team. So then he's got like 3 hot dogs going into his photo op, and he's like, no, I'm going to eat these hot dogs. And then in the green room, he came in, and my son was in there, and he was like, how do I get another one of those chocolate donuts? Are there any left? So we talked about a chocolate donut, but of all the things he could eat there, it was hot dogs and chocolate donuts, and that's what he wanted. And he was so gracious and kind. And the last thing I'm going to say, our son got a job working for a traveling shark encounter. So our son swims with sharks as his profession. He just
very cool.
Oh,
very cool.
Yeah, he got to come this year and meet the Jaws cast too. So
that's cool.
Thank you all for doing this, and nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Take care.
It's not the same thing, but like it's like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where he's like, "What's the oldest boy up to? Planning for his career?" He's like, "Oh, college? No, carnival."
Yeah.
Carnival.
He can get your way though.
Yeah. Wait, that's right.
Hey, speaking of hot dogs and chocolate donuts, we got a question. I think it might be Donna. Mike, it says, Mike, do you think Richard might like chowder?
That's got to be Donna. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, gotta be Donna.
I'm sure
If
he
it's
will.
her chowder.
Donna makes the best chowder. So if he doesn't have any, I'll eat his.
But if he likes those chocolate donuts, she can make that chocolate cake that she makes with the ganache.
Yes.
Oh.
It's dinner time here. I'm getting very hungry. Can we stop talking about food, please?
Sorry.
Yeah, the only thing we've got in Kentucky is bourbon, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
And apparently hot dogs.
Good hot dogs.
Good hot dog. I've seen worse combinations. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Could be a lot worse. Speaking of which, hey, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Martin.
I was going to be that guy and say, hey, Brandon, I know Scarefest just finished, but have you got anything you can give us for next year? Any little seeds for next year?
I can. So we're getting ready to I guess this would be the first place we've announced because we're not going to announce it till tomorrow. Our dates for next year are October 18th through the 20th. And if you like this year, we're sticking with about 70 celebrities. And so look at what has 40th reunions coming up. I know that Nightmare on Elm Street has a 40th. There's a few others that have 40s coming up. I can also tell you I'm a huge Phantasm fan.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
So you're saying that Robert Englund and Reggie Bannister are going to be there next year? It was what I took from that.
I'm saying if I have my wishes, then yes, that is where we would like to go. I'm going to deny anything. Nothing's set in stone yet, but I can tell you my wish list. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
Any interest in the Jaws 2 kids?
Yeah, that's huge.
So Jaws 2 would also include Christine.
Ooh.
Crossover, but that guy doesn't do shows.
Keith Gordon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Keith Gordon.
Keith
Keith.
He has, but it's been a long time. He went to the director's role a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which he's been very successful at. I would not be turned off to the idea, that's for sure.
Okay.
But we would have to have certain people in place to get that going.
Right. Okay. Well, you might be hearing from me. So
hey, I am open. We can I think Kentucky's proven that we can accommodate quite a few guests and we can have the people to turn out for it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful time, beautiful experience. It was a great show, and the people made it that much more fun. I tracked down a couple of used bookstores. Black Swan was one of them. Yeah, it was. That's why I drove. You know, my wife's like, "Why don't you fly?" But I like driving because I like going places and going through different towns and little things and finding little treasures. So,
Michael, where'd you drive from?
Great books there. So yeah, we had a very good time.
Michael, where'd you come in from?
Kansas City.
Oh, okay, that's a good haul. I'm gonna have to take care of you guys next year. Everybody on here, like you guys drove a long ways. Like I'm gonna have to.
Okay, technically it was only 3 hours, but I did get up at the crack of before the sun came up.
That's pretty good haul now.
Like, I drove over Jellicoe Mountain for you. Okay,
yeah, but then next year you might be living
Mountain. I know where
Jellicoe.
that's at.
Yeah.
You might be living in Cincinnati next year, and that's just like
that's true. I might be.
Walk down the road.
Decided yet, so it's just an hour then.
It's a bus transfer. He'll give you a bus transfer.
Well, and despite the accent, I drove from Birmingham, Alabama, which is about 7 hours.
No,
so
just saying. You have mentioned that, and I've made note of it. I've got your faces. I've got your names. And if you bought tickets, I've got your emails. I don't have all of your personal information, but I've got enough to work on.
Okay.
Well, hey, Brandon, you know, if it's involving a pass for next year, I'm from middle of Pennsylvania, but listen, I will drive as many hours as I need to get that pass. So if I have to outdo one of these guys, you just tell me. I'll just loop around on my way down.
I mean, Nate, if you've never been before, you're automatic free pass.
Never have. Yeah, never had.
Nate's the engineer of this whole outfit with me and Mike, so he needs to experience this stuff.
Guys, okay. The benefit of being his owner is I can come up with 6 free passes here. I think I'm not promising anything, but I can pull off 6. I think.
Shoot,
well, Brandon, I've got an entertainment website that I'm writing an article for about the show, and I'll make sure I send you a link. But it's going to be I'll let you know. Like I said, it was. You know, I do a lot of shows here in the Midwest, Planet Comic-Con, and shows like that. But yours by far was amazing.
Because I go to Fanboy a lot here, because I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. So, so and literally, to be honest, yours was the best that I've been to, and it was more personable, and you know, just I enjoyed it immensely. Thank you so much.
Well, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. It was so much fun.
Well, I know we're rounding in on the hour, and I didn't want to go in a different direction. I'm sorry, Martin. I just interrupted you.
No, I was going to say, let's mark our calendars. Everybody on this call, plan to meet next year at Scarefest, because it was just such a great time. I mean, FrankenCon was my first. Listen, I got to be 50 years of age, and I never went to any of these horror cons, Comic-Con, nothing. We went to FrankenCon because I was invited to do a Q&A with Susan Backlenny. She cancelled, but I said, well, shit, we got the tickets. We're going to go. We had a phenomenal time. And you guys, Brandon and your wife, were there at Scarefest. And we talked a little bit. You probably don't remember, there's millions of people. But so then we got tickets for Scarefest. And it was, you know, I got to meet Michael. Michael and I have talked a little bit over the months and years. And we met each other, and he gave me a big hug. And it's like, man, this is what it's all about. It was fantastic. It was a great time. I can't wait for next year. I'll be there regardless of who you've got. We're going to be there, and I hope everybody on this call can make it as well. It was a brilliant, brilliant time.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Hey, Brandon, I don't know. Did you manage to pick up a coin from Nick? Sorry, from Greg Nicotero.
No.
There's a picture of the coin on screen at the moment, and if you look right in the center of that coin, can you see what it is?
I've seen the coin. I did not.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wait, what is that in the middle? Wait.
I wanted to shoot this up there, so I wanted to hear a little bit from Dean, some of the artifacts that he took and had signed and picked up there. So yeah.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, it's the flying ball.
Phantasm sphere.
Oh. Yeah. Wow.
I actually have one of those, and the guy that makes them is out of Texas, I think it is, and it's Mark.
Oh, right, yeah.
Nightmares Unlimited.
Wow. Oh, there it is.
Very cool.
It's
very cool.
It looks better when it's dusted.
Yeah.
But it has the autograph.
Yeah, so back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had Reggie and Don Coscarelli.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, the whole bunch. And so, like, as I said earlier, I'm a huge Phantasm fan. We've not had them in quite some time.
Interestingly, this is sort of how we ended up in Scarefest.
Well, this thing is sharp as it can be, and it's fell off of my foot a couple of times, and I've gotten lucky.
No, Patty Starr was the original owner, and she was more of a ghost hunter and didn't know her horror well enough, even though her dream was to own this horror con. And her husband fell ill and was dying, and so she had to sell the con to take care of him and be home with him. And she brought us on the board for 2 years, and one of the first groupings that Brandon recommended her to bring was Phantasm, and that's how we got that.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
In the event of a break-in.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cool connection. Great artifacts there. Yeah. And where did the tooth come from? Did that something you bought there? That was bought there, or was that with you?
That was Greg Nicotero as well. He's redesigned it. Normally they're flat up by the gum line. They're flat, but he's like giving it a bit of gum feature on that edge. In fact, I got one here.
Me too.
Yeah.
Looks like Martin got one as well. Yeah.
Mine's downstairs in a case. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's the shark glass, and that's the shark glass tooth, Nate.
That's right.
Ben Gardner,
Yeah.
the shot glass. So
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be the shot glass tooth that he finds in the hall. Mine's in the china cabinet, and Dreyfuss signed it at SharkCon.
Yeah.
No kidding.
God, that coin is amazing.
Yeah. I got to get one.
The tooling on it is quite nice. Yeah, it really is. And there, Dean actually is holding it right there. Yeah, the tooling on it is really, like, I was really impressed with the details that are in that thing.
It's quite a heavy coin as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, flip over the back. I didn't see it. Oh, nice.
What was on the back?
Yeah.
Flip it over one more time, Dean. I'm sorry.
The back was American Werewolf in London. The book, the Necronomicon book. What else is on there?
Isn't that Michael Myers up there?
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
American Werewolf.
That's like the alien, the face sucker or whatever from Alien.
Brandon loves American Werewolf.
Yep, American Werewolf. That's another one on my list. Hey, guys, noticed that David Naughton and Griffin Dunn have started hitting the circuit again.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, Griffin.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was really excited about that.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Hey, Dean, quick question for you. So you have 3 pair of the goggles, the circa 1970s goggles that looks like have some signatures on that. Did that kind of did that bring up any information from Dreyfuss about him? Is that where he told you the story about taking the goggles off by chance?
Yeah, he told me the story about the goggles. In fact, I got 4. I've got another one. I got one in my cabinet there, but I couldn't quite reach it. And I didn't want to risk taking out these big panels of glass I have here to get at it. So 3 were already out of the cabinet, so they're the ones I took with me and got signed. I was going to plan maybe on putting one on eBay, but I put it up for like one day, and somebody said, along with a photo of Richard Dreyfuss signing it, and then you get people saying, you got a certificate of authenticity with that. It's like, what? No, I haven't, but there's a picture of Richard Dreyfuss holding it and signing it. So I thought, do you know what? I want to keep it. So I took it back off again.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I know you were there.
Yeah. Certificate to me is certificate of authenticity is the seller telling you that as far as he knows it's genuine.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll take a picture of him signing it over that. There was years and years ago, and I used to have a pinned post on the JawsMovie.com page. Somebody bought a Jaws the Revenge poster that was signed by Robert Shaw, and it had a certificate of authenticity. And you
mean 7 years after he died?
Yeah, paid $187 for it, and I just wanted to, used to be able to in early days of eBay, you could see who the high bidder was, and you could contact them. Because if I could, I would have said, "Hey, idiot, Robert Shaw was dead. He's dead for 9 years."
Yeah.
Oh my God, that little barrel is awesome.
Yeah. Is that the ceramic barrel that's made for a drink, or is that just a barrel? What is that, Dean?
I think it's that barrel there.
Okay.
That came with the Ozark Shark City
Sharks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you had the fin sign too, didn't you?
Sorry?
You had the fins off the Ozark Shark signed as well, didn't you?
Both fins have been signed, one by Richard Dreyfuss, and obviously the other one by Susan Blacklimey. So so that's good. I spent a fortune there. I did. I got my book signed as well, and that was quite an embarrassing moment when I realised because I was with Mike at the time, and I think we were at dinner or we at the bar, and I mentioned to him the fact that I had this book that I bought online with Donna. In fact, Donna Honig, when I went to Martha's Vineyard, wanted me to go to Edith's shop, buy the book, get Edith to sign it. And I didn't do it. And I'm flying home and I'm thinking, I really wish I'd done that. So as soon as I got back, I ordered the book online, and it came. And I didn't read it at all. I didn't even open it. But the plan was to take it up and get it signed by Richard Richard Dreyfuss, and so I took that there, and yeah, he signed it. And I was telling Michael that story, and he said, "Yeah." He said, "I wrote in that book as well." And I put the 2 and 3 together. Then I was so slow; it was unreal. I didn't even know who Michael was.
Now, is this one?
And then you gave me a signed book for the Jaws 2, which is brilliant.
Is this book signed by Edith?
No.
Okay, message me your address. I have book plates that I made for this book that Edith signed.
Really?
I will send one to you. So you'll have her signature on it as well. Did Richard mention that he was on the cover? When we redesigned the book, I had that picture put on the cover, and when I showed it to him, he looked at it and he said, "I'm on the cover." And I said, "Well," I said, "I've never seen you on the cover of the book, so I put you on the cover." And he looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, great. Roy had to die so I could be on the cover of your book." Because Schneider's on the original. And I was just,
right. Okay.
Yeah, definitely send me that, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, he didn't mention it, but I had so many things to sign. It was unbelievable. I mean, I think I must have spent on his table alone. I got to say it quietly because the wife's in bed, and I just don't want to hear him. I spent $1,400, I think, with Richard Dreyfuss. So.
You and Eric Augustine are his best friends.
I was going to say, yeah, Eric. Yeah,
I've seen Eric at his table with a pull wagon.
Yeah, we did it SharkCon
with 20 items. Here's 10 Funkos of you. Here's putting the Dreyfuss
here's the air tank. Here's an air tank replica. Here's sign this. Yeah.
You know what though, Dave, with the trip that you made though, I mean, at first I was like, when I saw the amount of things that you brought with you, my initial reaction was, holy crap, like, where'd you pack all that you were worried it wasn't going to get damaged on the way? Because we've all seen airline luggage get moved from the plane to the cart back to the plane again. You know what I mean? So you had to be kind of worried about that.
So I took it all on as hand luggage, and things like the lens from the diver's torch. I took it off. I took it with me, so I didn't have to take the torch with me. And got Richard Dreyfuss to sign the lens. So I deliberately didn't glue the fins onto the shark when I got the shark delivered, knowing that I'm going to be, I'm going to be taking them with me to Lexington. But luckily I didn't break anything on the way back.
So, Dean, did you win the lottery, or do you like a CEO of like a multi-million-dollar corporation? Because the amount of money you must have spent is absolutely shocking.
Dean is my hero. Like, Dean, I bow down to you, man. I thought I had a collection. Jesus Christ.
I got my own business in Cumberland. I got a business that serves South Wales and south of England, and we do all double glazing repairs. Glass, broken windows, broken handles, locks, things like that. So, I used to do a lot of motorsport, and I gave that up 2 years ago, and it was burning a hole in my pocket, so I started up my Jaws collection.
So about 6 months before, you were smashing windows around South Wales, right? So you could get a bit extra business.
That's what I was going to say, Martin.
Drumming up work.
I had to sell my Escort Cosworth to get all this. So
that's brilliant.
It's amazing what you can do with a dog chain and a brick on the weekends. You know what I mean?
Everyone, it's an investment. It's an investment, So so far.
And all last week in the paper, it was unprecedented window vandalism.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Find those little bastards and hang them up by their Buster Brown.
There it is.
That's great stuff.
All joking aside, Dean, so I don't know if you guys have seen, but Dean, I'm assuming it makes sense now that you do glaze work and glass work. I'm assuming behind you there, that's what you've been showing on the line with what you've been building. And I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's almost I don't know
Beautiful.
It's like a room separator, but it's like the base of it is like the back of the hull of the Orca, and he's got like the model of the Orca inside and all of his items in it. It's just an amazing display. If you haven't seen it, get on and check. He's posted pictures. He's done there's painting on some of the walls. Just amazing stuff, Dean.
In fact,
and his backyard as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my garden. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. So I sent a load of pictures to Brandon because he was interested, and I put him on. I messaged them to him on Facebook. I'm not sure whether I don't think he's seen them yet. To be honest, I know he's a busy man. So,
I just pulled. I'm pulling my life back together. It'll take me at least 2 weeks. I know you showed me some pictures while we were at the show, and I'm in awe right now. So sorry.
Yeah. So my entire garden's themed with. I had some street artists do all Martha Vineyard houses all around the garden on the fences. Yeah. So it's I'm lucky I got an understanding wife. So
yeah.
You showed me the garden. You did not show. I've not seen that.
The garden.
You showed me pictures of the garden when we were at the show. What you've got back there in the background.
See if I can get so you can see it any better.
My God.
Yeah.
I can't really.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
Oh, that's a
good
view right there, Dean. Oh my goodness.
I got overjoyed showing you my one sheet. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Brandon, some of these fans are collection. Mine pales to it. I see it and I go, wow, I'm so jealous. I'm so envious.
Jesus, Dean, I'm riding shotgun on this one, man.
Yeah.
And that's my neon sign from some festival in France, I think it was. It came from a festival in France. So, yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing, Dean. So, Dean, my question is, what time do you go to work?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No, I'm sure.
Do you have an alarm on your house?
What's your address?
That orchid took a guy called Russell Buckley nearly 6 years to build it. And in the orchid, in the main beam, because he is Russell Buckley, he does he's a prop maker. And he got sent a piece of actual wood. It wasn't a great big piece from the original orca. He took it, admittedly, it's probably about the size of a matchstick. And he's actually built it into the orca, into the main beam of that orca. So it is one of the most detailed ones I've ever seen. You know, there are some very good ones out there.
That's the one that you have. I read about that. Yes, he did a whole write-up on it when he was building it, and he talked about that. A piece of the Orca, I believe the Orca 2, piece of the fiberglass hull, right? What made its way into it. Is that right?
No. It's a piece of the Orca 1 that is in that Orca.
The one that got scrapped.
Really?
The one that got scrapped in California.
Oh, the one that.
Yeah.
Oh.
No kidding. Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
So and in fact he lives in Wales, and he had that orca online on eBay. I think I paid £1,200 for it, and it was well worth it. You know, the only thing is I don't like touching it. You know, like if I got to clean it, that's why I had to build the case for it, because it was getting dusty, and every year I'd have to give it a brush. And every time I touched the thing, something would fall off it, and I'd have to refit it back on. So it's staying in that case now.
Oh, wow.
I'm not saying I'm playing the heist, but I would call it Ocean's 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. And the outdoor murals at your place are absolutely amazing, Dean. I actually messaged you a while. I don't know. It was maybe like in the last year when you started doing the murals outside. And not to put you on the spot, but I messaged you. I said, hey, if you're interested in something from the island, let me know. Give me your address, and I'll send something. I was going to send you some sand and stuff from Amity.
Yeah,
oh, that's all right.
I would have reached out to those.
Well, first of all, if you trust everyone who contacts you on Facebook, you're going to have some problems. So, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I was talking to what was his name? I can't think. Paul McPhee. Paul McPhee. He's a friend of Greg Nicotero's, and he was talking to me tonight. He's sending me a load of photos from when they, when him and Greg did some painting of either the Orca or Bruce. And he asked me for my address today so he can send me over a load of photos. And then he said to me, he said, have you seen my paintings? And I said, well, no, because I didn't even know who the guy was. And he said, go to my website, have a look at a painting, tell me which painting you like. So I went on his site. This painting's $20,000. You know, some of those paintings. Wow. But so I'm not going to tell him which one I like, because I don't want him to send me, send me anything like that. I couldn't afford it. But yeah, so he is going to send me some original photographs of when him and Greg redid a painting of Bruce. So I'm looking forward to that. He also asked me for my t-shirt size as well. So that'll be an interesting parcel when it turns up.
Very nice.
Very cool. Yeah.
But he was the one that had, that technical drawing of Bruce that I have. It's a photocopy of an original drawing by a guy called F.T. Wormer. And he did all the drawings when they were building the shark. And it's quite a detailed drawing. And I took a photo of that, took it to Scarefest with me, a photo of it, because I was told the original came from Greg. And he made a photocopy and gave it to Paul McPhee. And I, as soon as I showed Greg the photo and put it in front of him, I didn't say nothing to him. I just put it in front of him and said, could you sign that? He said, I've got the original of that. How did you get hold of that photocopy? So I told him the story then. And he said, yeah. So he actually signed on it saying from the original owner, Greg Nicotero. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's
very cool.
Yeah.
And what's just as cool
from Martha's Vineyard, which was a story on its own, because when I got it from Donna Honig, and it was the day before I was due to leave for home, and I had asked Donna, is there any memorabilia I can buy? And she was like, well, no, I haven't got anything really. And the day before, she reached out to me on Facebook. She said, are you still on the island? I said, yeah, I'm still here. She said, well, I got a drawing, a technical drawing that was given to me by Paul McPhee, who had it from Greg. Would you be interested in it? I went straight over to her house, saw it, got it from her, with the idea that there's quite a big picture. It was to get it back to the hotel, take it out of the frame, roll it up, put it into a tube. I can take it on the flight. Well, I got back to the hotel. It's actually bonded onto a bloody board, and it was quite a large board as well. And I was just lucky they let me carry it on the plane as it was, because hardly any people on there. There was nobody in my row, so they let me put it on the plane next to me. So that's how I managed to get that home. But images and telling me I couldn't take it on the flight. So, but yeah.
Cool.
Very cool.
Great stuff.
Incredible stuff.
But my dream is to get something actually from the movie. Something used. I don't know what.
Don't buy the blood. Don't buy the blood.
Yeah, don't buy the blood. or the jewelry, or the brooch. The brooch in an extra war.
Oh yeah,
the brooch.
Yeah, no.
Where was that brooch supposed to come from?
They don't say. They just say this is a piece of jewelry worn by one of the stars of Jaws. I'm like, I don't remember anybody wearing that kind of ring or a brooch.
Yeah, you would have noticed it if it was screen used or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that's the bad thing. There's so much crap out there, and people don't realize.
No, that's yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get you know, if I wanted a machete, you know, and I just couldn't find one at all. And if I could find one, it was in America, and I probably couldn't get it delivered over here. So I went to a Welsh knife maker who actually built me an exact replica of the movie used machete, and that is actually perfect.
Yeah, I remember commenting on that. It does look amazing. Even went into like the wearing and the weathering of it, like where the roots go through the handle. Yeah, it's an awesome job on it. Yeah. So,
and at the moment, I'm waiting for. I had a gunsmith build me the harpoon gun, so I'm picking that up next week. So I had an original green harpoon gun case, the green one that I had one of them, but it was empty. And I had it delivered up to him, and he's building it so the gun comes apart. He was going to originally make it all by hand, but he said, "I can buy all the parts. I can get all the parts for you and assemble this harpoon gun. Would you rather me do that?" I went, "Yeah, fine." It's just been nickel plated. Nickel plated, and I'm collecting that next week. And that more or less will complete a collection, apart from Ben's head, which I'm waiting for now to come from America. So I got Ben's head being made. It was cast in resin, and it's gone off to a friend of mine in New York. So he's going to put the hair on, put the eyeball hanging out, and all the. He's did an absolutely amazing job of it. So, but the cast actually came from the original prop.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's two things now I'm waiting for. Then there's the gun, it's the harpoon gun, and Ben's head. So.
And the harpoon gun's good for shooting out windows, and then
it'll pay for itself.
He's got it to fire. So I'm going to go drive up to Birmingham, and we're going to give it a test fire. So
nice.
I won't be shooting my fence with it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, Dean. I think what's just as cool is not the fact that you have these things, or you're collecting these items, but it's the story that goes along and how you acquire it and how you get it. And to me, I think that is as big and important as almost genuine as the items at times, because when someone sees it, it starts that interest in that conversation. But it's then when you come in with the story as to how you acquired it, to me, that is what is just so cool. Like silver lining.
Exactly.
If I can't find one, I'll get a replica made for it. So it's like this Cooper's dive knife.
Dive knife, yeah.
This is resin because I couldn't get it delivered from America. A real knife. So a guy in America made exact copy out of resin, and I purchased it from him. So it looks quite good in the display case, but it's not real. It is plastic.
Sure. Very cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
So I haven't put much up in comments here with all the discussion here, so I thought Peter Spinetti owned the.
What's the gun whale?
Gun whale is part of the ship. Gun whale would be, I guess, a top strap of the boat.
Yeah. Pete owns the fighting chair, the rod and reel.
Yeah, the Fenwick rod and reel.
The toe fin, and the Zanuck Brown production.
Let me get this one now in a sec.
Wait, you're telling me somebody owns the chair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's pictures of Mike sitting on it, and holding the reel. Yeah.
Holding the reel
in the fighting chair. Yeah.
Yep.
Unbelievable stuff.
I have a piece of the actual cabin that they stayed in.
Very cool.
God,
I'm this is got the proper rod model they used in the movie.
That's incredible.
Awesome.
That weighs a ton. That does.
Yes, it does.
God, I'm a horrible Jaws fan.
There it is. There's a cabin, and I own a piece. Yep, I have a piece of that somewhere. Yep.
Brandon, for the first Jaws Fest, this motley crew from England, Australia, the U.S., we rented the cabin that Spielberg lived in while they were filming. So every day we could take our shower in the Spielberg bathroom.
I've really got to work on my fandom here. Like
you got the face to the table as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Welcome to the club, Brandon.
Yeah. Welcome to the family.
I like to say it's just because it's cold in here, but geez.
Yep.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. Unbelievable. Huge. Yeah.
Anyway, it's getting late here now. It's yeah. So I'm gonna be ducking out. I
say about time to say goodnight.
Honestly, I was going to say we're about an hour and a half in, and I thought we were kind of getting to a good point to kind of wrap things up here. So I do want to number one, thank everybody for coming on tonight. Dean, I really appreciate you jumping on and sharing some of your stories as well. Martin, I always appreciate having you on and joining us once again. I mean, every time I send something out, you're always like, absolutely, I'm going to be there. Brandon, love the fact that you showed interest. You want to get on here and hop on here. And, I'm hoping that you're getting at least a little bit more feedback here for, obviously how well the job you're doing with that show. And we definitely appreciate you taking the time to kind of give us a little bit of insight into that as opposed to just, what was happening during the show. Because I'm sure we have no idea, even scratching the surface of what the undertaking is to get yourself prepped and ready to, not just to have the show, to have a show that works as successful what it does.
Have a successful show, definitely.
Oh, this has been fun. You guys will have to kick me out now.
Oh, no,
no way. No, you're in now. Sorry.
You're always welcome.
And then I'm going to hold you to those passes for me and my boys as well for next year.
No, me too. This is recorded. My wife is witnessing. No, I don't say anything and not mean it. Yeah. No, you guys got me on.
I really appreciate that. That's great.
All right.
You got me cornered on that one.
And Nate, if you send me your details again, I'll send you my address.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to send me your address.
Pop culture show. So anytime you want to hop on, we usually post what we're talking about. And Brandon, you have an open invitation if we're talking horror movies or talking a certain film. You're welcome to hop on and join us.
Oh, I'd love to. Dean, dude, I love you. Don't send me your address, man. I'm going to be too tempted. If I know where that much cool shit's stored at. I mean, I'm going to be honest.
Being a big fan.
Dean, it sounds like you need to start collecting M41 Garands right now. Is what you need to start doing.
There it is, right there.
Everybody, thanks for stopping by. We had a great time. Martin, hang out for a second after we say goodbye. Fins up. Have a great night. Have a great week.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good having you guys on. We'll get in touch again. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.